precisely why I think Dr. Siskin hit the nail on the head, that really, and I can say this because I'm not in any sort of political position whatsoever or paid to be, we can't really say technically that the water is perfectly safe. It's safe as far as what we know. I mean, I think it's fair to say as far as we know, the water is safe to drink. But what we don't know is I think, you know, what really needs some more attention. Like Carl mentioned, that we don't really know everything that's down there in our aquifer that we're getting. We know what the EPA in the state of Florida tells our water providers to test for and to look for, but as far as everything else is concerned, we don't know.
Well, I'm going to go back to those same studies. What some of those studies show, for instance, the biosolids study that was conducted by the Gainesville Regional Utilities, where they were looking at leachate from the soils and then groundwater impacts from it. And they looked at a series of pharmaceuticals and endocrine disruptors, and they found none. Actually, it was detected below these application sites, and these are the sites that they have been using for a while in Miami. There's indications that the soil is an incredible treatment device in itself, but the treatment plant is as well a good treatment source. So where they have looked, they found success. However, it is very site specific. We talked about the fact that the aquifer here is unique.
Right.
The Biscayne aquifer down around Miami is very unique. The Floridan covers a lot of Florida, and that has its own characteristics. So you really have to, you know, conduct site-specific analysis when you look at these information.
Right. And then my last question, I'll open up to the audience. My last question is actually for ECUA, and I'm not sure if you can answer this, or maybe somebody in the audience perhaps, but I have read about the fact that ECUA is suing some oil companies for the MTBE found in our aquifer, which happens to be the only constituent on our list that isn't regulated, that's on the CCL list, by the way. Look that up, MTBE. And also a suit against DuPont. I don't know if that is the same suit or if those are two different suits, but I am curious why we haven't heard anything about this. I mean, it seems like, you know, if ECUA is being diligent and found that there's pollutants in our aquifer, and they are going after the people that have put those pollutants in there, there would be incredible support within the community for ECUA going in and recouping that money in order to remove those pollutants. And yet there is no discussion about these lawsuits, and I don't understand why. And I fear that what is being discussed in the media about how our water is perfectly safe, what kind of effect is that position going to have on these lawsuits, which can potentially get funds to clean up some of the stuff that is in our aquifer? I have a big concern about that, and I'm curious, I don't know if you can answer, or if you want to pass it on.
Maybe about half of it, or I'll try, I guess. There are some other ECUA folks here in the audience that might have a little bit more information than I do, but as I understand it, we are part of a class action suit on the issue of MTBE. To my knowledge, it is being discussed regularly in open meetings at ECUA board meetings. It's certainly there and available, and for the press or anybody else, any interested citizen to participate in the discussion and be aware of. I think that in terms of the question of the contamination of the aquifer and the safety of the drinking water, there are really two different questions. You know, our MTBE problem, it was mentioned that it's been focused mostly on one well, and that well is no longer online in our system. It's basically on standby. It has a granular activated carbon filter on it. It takes a special brand of activated carbon to remove the MTBE. We can bring it online if we need it, if there's a fire or some other large demand, and the water would still be safe, but it's not economical and it doesn't make sense for us to use it. I specifically don't know if about the DuPont question. So, it's not the first time that we've certainly been involved in class action suits and for other reasons as well.
Okay, audience questions?
Maybe this question would be for Mr. Johnson as well. I guess my question has to do with, is there